What do you think? Do you like this look more of just the black bridge plank behind this shed for a retaining wall? Or a retaining wall like this, made from over 70,000 pounds of concrete blocks. Today's the day I'm going to start my summer project of taking these concrete blocks that I'm going to use to create a retaining wall to hide that bridge plank and to help support it. That way it doesn't keep leaning back more and more. The first thing I got to figure out is how far I want these blocks away from the existing wall. So I'm going to try setting some up there, see what it looks like, and then just kind of take a measurement and go from there. I like the look of that because I want to stay as close to this wall as I can. That way I don't give up any room when I'm backing stuff up into this other shed. But the problem is going to be is there's little chunks of concrete from when these bridge plank were put in that are going to be in the way. So I'm going to grab a pickaxe to see if I can maybe knock some of that concrete out, which will buy me a little bit more real estate in the back so I can get up nice and close to the wall. To make sure that the retaining wall we build here is parallel with our shed and parallel with the road, instead of measuring off of the existing wall, as you can tell it's got a bunch of bows in it, we're measuring 76 feet off of the baseboard of this shed, which we know is straight, out to here where I'm putting these posts. That way I have something to gauge for a straight line. Now that I know I have the wall straight going this way, I'm setting up my transit here. This is going to tell me and make sure that my wall is going to be level up and down, so in the third dimension. So I'm going to look through this and get everything squared away. So this transit is basically an old-fashioned laser. So now I'm going to level it going this way and then this way. And I'll show you guys inside. It will shoot a perfectly straight line. That way I'll be able to run a string to see where my depth's going to be for where I want to dig my footings. Up 1/8 of an inch. Tip it towards the shop. Hope. So I got my string up here now, as you can see. So this goes across the whole length of the wall. And this will allow me to measure down off of the string to the ground. That way I know where I'm at always for depth. And the reason I need that is because I'm going to put concrete under these blocks rather than lay them directly on the gravel. That way it'll just look a lot smoother and they'll be completely level across. So now I'm just measuring down and then got to dig out a little bit of gravel underneath. That way I can make room for the forms for the concrete. Well, I got most of my trench dug out for where I'm going to put the concrete forms to set the blocks on. So now I'm going to go grab some 2x4s, start measuring, and start laying the forms in the trench. That way I can see if there's any other dirt I got to get out of the way. We keep all of our spare lumber in this little shed right here. It's our old dryer shed. This shed actually used to sit over a very old dryer that we used to have on the farm. So I'm going to crawl up there, throw down some of our lumber. That way we can get it over to that wall we're building. Here's the bottom of the shed that I was taking them 2x4s out of. Clearly it's just a cluster mess. I was hoping to find some time to clean this up, organize it, build some shelves in here. Hang on, a bird's swinging in. I don't know if he ain't coming this time. But hopefully gonna clean this out maybe this summer. If not, we'll see if after this fall I can maybe throw some stuff away and organize it a little better. I got this side of the wall all measured out and I got half the stakes in there, but on the other side there's a big concrete slab sitting over there. So I gotta back some stuff out of the shed. That way I can take that out and keep working down. I struggled to get the concrete into the loader. The loader's got a 8-foot bucket and it just is a little bit too long. So now we're getting the forklift, gonna try to prop that up and just set it into the loader. That way we can get rid of it. All it is was just a concrete slab that supported the wall. Got all of our handprints from us 4 kids. So for those of you watching, siblings, sorry, but this concrete piece, it's gotta go. Well, it took 2 days of pounding stakes, cutting boards, running string, measuring, remeasuring, trying to only cut once to get these forms in here for the block. So everything should be laid. I got these set just under 12 inches apart for the block, and then got this corner rounded off to get the blocks placed in there. Since the lay of the earth, everything slopes down towards our fuel barrels, similarly here across our wall. So I stepped it off in 2 different spots. Here's one of those, stepped it down 6 inches. That way I didn't have to dig a bunch more and bury a block underneath. So hopefully that lines out all right when we start laying the blocks on top of the concrete. To help me pour concrete today, I got my grandpa here who's been tired and now he's retired. So he's been a carpenter, or did carpenter work for how long?
45 years.
And how many yards of concrete have you poured in those years?
I have no idea.
Well, that's a lot or not many?
It's quite a few. Yeah. Now we're getting ready to pour it.
So would you rather be doing this or watching TV and playing in the house?
TV in the house.
Oh, that wasn't the answer I was hoping for. The truck's just pulling in for the concrete. It's time to get this party started. So this is what's hopefully gonna happen. The truck driver's gonna stay in the truck. We're gonna have the concrete come out down through this chute. It's gonna start filling in our channel here. We're gonna work it down with the shovels. It should be pretty quick and easy since it's a straight shot, only 12 inches wide. So let's see how this thing goes.
Yeah, you level it off, and then if it's a little short, you bring it back. A little long, just take it the other way. Oh, that's a little stiff.
There we go. We got our 2 yards of concrete poured in under an hour. At first when we started, there wasn't enough water in it, but here towards the end, he added a lot more water, so it made it easier for me with the 2x4. We're just gonna leave this rough edge on there because we're just gonna be putting blocks on there. It's not gonna need to be a finished edge or anything. Let's see how my grandpa thought the pouring concrete went. How'd it go?
Went good, went good. Help was kind of a little slow, but
yeah.
The rest went good.
Like I said earlier, Grandpa was helping me, I wasn't helping him, so he's referring to himself. But yeah, now just gotta wait for the concrete around the forms to get a little hard and then break that up and get the forms out of the way. Start laying block here early tomorrow. I got the forms taken off this morning, got those all cleaned up, threw on 4 blocks just to see how it's gonna look. I noticed I forgot to measure that there's a lip on the outside, so I got an extra 1.5 inches of concrete shown up here in the front, but that's fine. I can cover that with some backfill. But now it's time to start putting on some blocks. Things are going smooth. I got about 2/3 of the block laid. Really liking how it looks and how it's meeting up to this other wall behind it. That way it'll put a little bit of force to hold everything up there. We're backfilling here with gravel, and then I'm gonna move up some of these rocks and put some gravel here. That way I can level it off. But now as I'm laying even more and more, I'm getting down to the part where I stepped it down to account for the change in elevation of the yard. And now I'm realizing the first thing that I did wrong in this project. Each block sits a little bit farther back because it's got a groove on the back side. That way they line up with each other, hold each other tight, and just have a stronger force. But as I get down here, where I step down, I should add the concrete back farther since I'll have an extra block to account for that tongue and groove. So that's what I did wrong. So now I gotta get a saw to cut off some of the concrete to fix the mistake I made. That way the blocks will sit up farther and I can still use the tongue and groove system that I was hoping to use the whole way down. Now that I scored the concrete with that saw, as you can tell here, I got 2 different marks. First one's the one where I screwed up, second one's pretty close to right on. So now I just gotta hammer that out with a sledgehammer. In a way, This is a lot like building Legos, where it's brick by brick, except these bricks weigh just at 80 pounds and are not inside in the air conditioning, and it's not very fun. There should be 150 feet, 700 blocks later, our new retaining wall. I just got finished backfilling a little bit of gravel up front here to hide some of the concrete. Gonna cut a little piece there, but it's looking really good. Gonna call for a load of gravel to put behind here. That way I can build it up behind here as well. I just have to throw gravel and rocks behind these last couple blocks, and then this project will be done. It took me over 7 days of digging in the dirt, cutting forms, measuring, remeasuring, and laying blocks to get this project done. But I'm thoroughly pleased with how things are looking out here. If you guys think this looks a lot better than the bridge plank I had here previously, let me know down below in the comments. Otherwise, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks so much everyone for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.